Hi, Minesh Baxi here, and I have a guest who came all the way from Irish Hill. So thanks to Robin Shear for coming.
My pleasure. I was so excited to come today.
Yeah, I was excited too because I got to obviously talk to you on the Zoom as well. And when you told me about how you actually help people in what is called joy coaching, like that's very different. And I'm glad that we are going to be talking about that today. So thanks for coming to share that.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. I'm so happy to be here.
Fantastic. So you do something which is very different. Like, so people talk about coaching in different aspects, like I'm a business coach and so on and so forth. And your field of expertise is joy coaching.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit how people would understand that.
Well, there are lots of different kinds of coaching, like you said. And when I went into coaching, it was up to me. I got to decide what matters to me and what gifts and skills do I have to bring. And I gave that a lot of time and a lot of prayer and a lot of consideration. And the message that just kept coming back was this message of joy, because as I looked back on my life and the things that I did and the experiences that I had, joy was the common denominator of all of it. And I thought, this is a world that could use that message. It's a messed up, hurting and broken world, not to go really depressed, but it's a tough place. And joy can help.
Yes. Yeah. And most people are chasing happiness. Now, there are ways of getting happiness. And again, we'll talk about the difference between happiness and joy.
Yeah.
We'll go there in a minute here.
Okay.
But happiness is what people are pursuing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the way they pursue may not be very healthy for them.
Right. Because happiness is fleeting. Happiness is circumstantial. And so often, we turn to things that may not really bring us happiness in the end. They may be things that are temporary, that might fill a void of sorts, but then could leave us with more problems than we started with.
Isn't that true?
Depending on what people choose.
That is so true.
Yep.
Now, you have a strong foundation as a faith, family. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I recognize that not everybody has the same beliefs that I have, and I love to meet people with all different belief backgrounds. Yeah. I'm such a learner and absorber, and so I recognize that. But from a personal standpoint, my faith is everything to me and has been ever since I was a child, and it is the ultimate source of joy. And I'm talking about lasting, rich, deep, satisfying joy that doesn't blow away when the circumstances change. It's lasting and it's got value long beyond anything that could bring me happiness.
And you've been basically helping people in different ways through the different roles that you have done. So tell us a little bit about the type of jobs you have done. And I know you mentioned that to me a little bit, so I think it'll be helpful for people to learn about that.
Okay. Well, it's funny because I never thought I would change careers. No one does. And I wanted to help people always. And dietetics was the direction that I first took. And so I went to Michigan State, got a dietetics degree, taught at the college level, helped edit some books, just taught at the community level in lots of ways. And then I opened a practice and I worked with a lot of people who had eating disorders. And these were not joyful conditions.
No.
This is a wonderful group of the population who is really broken. And so it was interesting because I found that, they had nutritional needs, but they also had a need for something much deeper than that. And so the clients that did the best, the clients that recovered the quickest were the ones who were willing to begin to live a little bit. We would take walks and we would kick the leaves up, or we would go on swings and swing while we talked, or test drive cars, just living a little bit. And I began to see these are the ones that really grasped the idea of recovery and had a reason to recover. So that was how I began my career, was in dietetics.
Wow.
And I loved it. And I didn't plan to leave. And then during that time, my husband and I were volunteer youth leaders at our church. And we're asked to work with the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And I thought, what am I going to do with kids? Okay, we'll do it for a year. You can find someone else after that. Well, we fell in love with it. We stayed for 8 years. We just had a blast with this group of kids and their families. And the group grew, and it was just so much fun. And then a job opened up at the church. As the program grew, they needed somebody on staff. And so I thought about that, and I really didn't want to leave dietetics, but I felt God was calling me into youth ministry full time. So I closed my practice, kept my license, and so for another 7 years, I was the youth director at our church. And so we, expanded our team and grew a middle school, high school program. We did lots of mission work. We went to Nicaragua a couple times. I mean, we just had a ball getting to know God and each other. But it was really a joyful time as well. Wow. And then when I could sense that the time was coming for that phase to settle down a little bit, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And so I took a couple of years just to pray about it and live a little bit. And so I found myself working with senior citizens and in the area of life enrichment. And it was a blast. And I found that those seniors were a lot like the teenagers, you know? They like fun and food and friends and adventure and faith and all the same stuff. So, you know, I led exercise classes and took them on mystery trips and, you know, just brought in comedians and just had a complete blast with these folks for a couple of years. And in that time, I began to get this idea of going into coaching officially because I had been told by so many people, you would be a great coach. You really need to be a coach. And I thought, what if I looked into it? What, you know, it would be a whole new direction I didn't plan to go.
Yes.
Not that I planned on any of the other directions. And so, yeah, I gave it prayer again, talked to the people in my world and jumped in. And it's just been incredible because joy has been the thread that just really brought all of those pieces together. And now I'm in a position to meet people around the world and find out what brings you joy and why aren't you doing it and what can we do about that together and how can we fill your joy bucket and watch that overflow. So
very good. Fantastic. Thanks
so
for
fun.
sharing that.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you would suggest to people who are searching for joy, who don't feel that sense of joy in their lives?
Yeah, what a good question. You know, I think the first thing is really to take a look at, do you understand what joy is? Because happiness and joy give us the same feeling initially. You know, there's a lot of crossover there, and they both make us feel great. And so often our culture, our society just really pushes this concept of happiness. But what they don't tell you is that feeling ends just as quickly as it begins sometimes. And, you know, it's a high followed by a low, and you have this cycle that repeats, and that doesn't leave anyone feeling satisfied. So, you know, take a look at how you define joy. What is joy to you? Like, how would you define it?
Very simple. In my case, having that sense of legacy for my family, having a sense of legacy for people around me. My personal opinion is very simple. We are all created by God and we are children of God. And our purpose here is to serve each other.
Absolutely.
And if I serve you, Robin, through this or whatever other means, I know I'm on my way to being more joyful because I think if the values that I act on are aligned with God as well as the good things that I know I'm capable of, I think I'll have more joy.
Wow. So to you, it sounds like you're saying that joy is really serving and serving from a capacity of how is this going to bless other people and how is this in line with my beliefs? What does God think of what I'm doing with my time? And knowing that you're matched up brings you joy.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't give that time. They don't think about it. And so that's the first tip I would have is just really take a look at, do you get it? And where are you putting the majority of your effort? Because there's nothing wrong with happiness, but what if a hurricane blows through and wipes out all of that stuff that you worked so hard for to be happy?
Yes.
What do you have left? That's joy. That's the stuff that lasts. And so be sure to spend time on that as well. Know the difference and spend time on both.
And I agree with you totally. I mean, my life is very simple. We have homeschooling as one of the focus in our family. We spend a lot of time together. And I know you have a great family together. I had a chance to meet Rick as well. And you have been married for a long time. How many years have you been married now?
Going on 26.
26. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you have 2 children, one boy, one girl, right?
That's right. We ordered them that way.
You ordered it that way. Yeah. 22 and a 19-year-old, if I'm correct.
Good memory. Yeah, that's right.
I remember that.
Yep.
And so I think you've got a great family. Obviously, you believe in those things.
Oh,
and
it matters.
Makes a big difference.
It does.
I think family brings more joy as well.
It certainly can.
Because you are surrounded by people who care about you.
Hopefully. That's the goal, right?
Well, I tell my wife all the time, she's the one who cares the most about me compared to anybody else on the planet.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to get that replaced anytime.
That's right. That's good.
It's not going to happen. And I tell my children, nobody cares about you more than I do.
Oh, it's so true, though.
And those are the people who are a family.
And I always tell my kids, you guys need to really pour into your relationship with each other because you're probably going to be on earth together with each other more than any other human being. So do not neglect that relationship.
Very true, because that's exactly one of the reasons we had a girl, and I was quite happy having one kid. And my wife convinced me to have another one who is a boy. So my boy is 12 and the girl is 16.
Oh, neat.
And that was part of the reason is like, hey, you need to pour into each other's relationship, because when parents are not there,
That's right.
you are the ones who are going to be around.
Chances
and
are.
supporting each other as well. So
Yeah.
quite a similar thinking process there as well. And I appreciate you sharing that. So how, tell us a little bit about what kind of programs or stuff you do for people
Sure.
that they may be interested in learning more about.
Sure. So I do all my coaching online. And so, when people sign up for coaching, we spend about 2.5 hours together the first time. And we just really dig into the person as an individual. And I love that process because you can learn so much. And sometimes people are learning about themselves for the first time.
Yeah.
I had one client, and this guy is so educated. He has so many PhDs. He has studied all of the world religions.
Wow.
I mean, he is so experienced. And we did a session like that together. And he was in tears at the end. And he said, I feel like I'm seeing myself for the first time. And I'm a good person. And of course, he is a good person. But that's what we do. We spend time just figuring out who you are, what your values are, what drives your decisions. Why do you do the things you do, and what matters to you? And how can we pull that in a little more often? We neglect a lot of that stuff because we're busy all the time. Yes. So then we really get into the fun stuff and talk about, what floats your boat? What makes you happy? What makes you joyful? Let's dig into that and let's incorporate that. And so it could be, we look at different areas of life. It could be your career. What's your joy level of your career? So often people, report low numbers there. It's not a place of satisfaction, but it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be that.
No. So, that's a direction we can go. Or family life is one that, just totally speaks to my heart. So anytime someone wants to talk about more joy in their family, I'm all over it because to me, that is such an integral part of just like the essence of life. And I want people to have that. I want people to know that. So family life is the direction we'll go. Marriage is a big one. Relationships in general. How can you really raise the joy level? And, the best way to know if you're a joyful person is to ask your loved ones what word they would use to describe you. Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. I think one of the things which comes to my mind all the time is gratitude.
Oh, yeah. What a big source.
People who come from a place of being grateful every single day, every single moment. Like, I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with you.
Same.
I'm grateful, I have a great family and so on and so forth. If I act from a place of gratitude, joy seems to be a natural outpouring of that kind of action.
So true.
And the more grateful we can be, the easier it is to be joyful.
Oh, so
and
true.
the more we give something, the easier it is to attract as
right.
well.
Oh, giving is a huge source of joy. Generosity. Oh, it just feels so good to know that you're doing something that blesses somebody else. Even the smallest thing. You can walk away feeling like you won the lottery when all you've spent was 99 cents to bless somebody else. But there's just something about generosity that brings joy. And like you said, gratitude. Oh my gosh. I could go all day on gratitude.
Exactly. And
it's a big one.
Yeah, and people can see on your face you're a happy person.
Oh, I can't help it.
Yes.
I have so much to be thankful for. The whole drive here, 90 minutes of remembering a trip that I took with my son because I was playing the music while I drove. And my heart just shouted thank you. I was just so grateful for that experience. And it was so simple. Sometimes we think we have to have it all.
Yeah.
It's not true. Don't buy into that.
No.
If you're grateful for the little things, they're all around you.
And God will bless you for more anyway.
Oh, it's so true,
Yes. God will bless you more when you are appreciative of anything you appreciate. You get more of.
It's true. It's true.
And I think that's very true. So thanks again. How can people get hold of you?
Oh, gosh. I have a website, and so they can check me out online. The website is joytotheworldcoaching.com. So I'd love to talk to people. I'd love to get out there and meet more folks.
Awesome. Any other message you want to give before we wrap up here today?
I think the main thing is really just to consider what brings you joy and to be mindful of it. Even if that means writing it on a sticky note, putting it on your bathroom mirror, and just revisiting that on a regular basis. Because life is busy, right? We're so on the go. It's full, it's demanding, and we don't often slow down just to take a look at how's our joy bucket? Is it full or empty? What are the things that I could add to my day today to just really bring me up to a place of fullness so that I have more to give?
Yeah.
So put a list out there. Put it on your phone. Like take a picture of it on your desktop, on your screensaver, and just let that remind you, oh, I said connection matters to me, and I haven't connected with anybody all week. I guess I better go connect with somebody, whatever it happens to be.
Well, that sounds like a great message for people, and I'm sure listening to your tips, they're able to enjoy joy even more than before, and at least have a plan or a path to getting there. And today's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too.
Thank you. And
we're going to go learn how to tango dance after this.
Good for you. Enjoy that.
We will.
Thanks again for watching. Robin, thanks for taking the time to come here. And again, if you are somebody who is hungry to get your message out, if you are humble and you come from a helpful attitude, let me help other people, I would love to have you be on my show as well. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.